With The Odyssey finally coming out this weekend, I spent the time rewatching all of Christopher Nolan's movies, so here's my ranking of those movies from worst to best. Its central concept definitely could have been explained a bit better, and the characters are pretty thin, but it's also hard not to enjoy this film in some way due to how ambitious and mind-bending it is from a technical perspective. It might be Nolan's worst in my opinion, but it is still very much worth a watch. It falls short on its technical aspects more than anything, but this still manages to be a short but sweet thriller that showcases a lot of the hallmarks of the style that would define Nolan's career. It's a bit more conventional compared to his other work, but this was still a solid and technically sound psychological thriller powered by a couple great performances from Al Pacino and Robin Williams. It's the weakest of the trilogy due to a lot of small problems in my opinion, but I still really like this overall because of its slow building first half before a pretty wild second half that leads to a very solid conclusion for this version of Batman. Its third act does get a little bumpy, but as the start of what would become a pretty good, arguably great superhero trilogy, this was still an incredibly solid start. Admittedly, there's not a whole lot to the characters here, but I was still really fascinated by the journeys they all went on. Combine that with some great visual storytelling, a tense score, and superb editing, and you get a film that is much more a story of survival than a straight-up war film, in my opinion. While it does get a tad convoluted at times, this is ultimately a gorgeously shot and incredibly moving sci-fi epic about love and finding a way home, and one that I just love more and more with each rewatch. It's got quite a few moving pieces in its narrative, but the execution of that narrative is masterful. From its structure to its themes to the incredible performances, this story about a bitter rivalry is one that absolutely gets better with every viewing. Even today, this is not just a great superhero film, but a great film, period. Thanks to an incredibly compelling storyline and great performances, especially from Heath Ledger, this still remains my number one favorite Batman movie. While it does run a little long, I also couldn't help but be engaged by every step of Oppenheimer's complicated journey, not just due to the narrative structure or the gorgeous cinematography, but also due to Cillian Murphy's incredibly layered performance. It falls just short of the top spot in my opinion, but that doesn't make this any less of a phenomenal film. With a story featuring a very compelling structure, this was an incredible mystery that still has me rethinking different aspects of it on a rewatch. Having always been fascinated with dreams, this hooked me from the very first time I watched it. But it's how it executes its concept, from its complex narrative to its breathtaking visuals to its intriguing protagonist. These are some of the many reasons why this is my number one favorite Nolan film. That was just my ranking of Christopher Nolan's films, but let me know what your favorite or least favorite of his movies are.